So on Wednesday, a federal judge blocked the Trump administration from deporting, at least for now, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, as cases involving his many alleged crimes make their way through the courts. So the administration is looking to deport the alleged MS-13 gang member and an El Salvador native potentially to Uganda. Now, right now, at this moment, Abrego Garcia is in a detention center in Virginia where, for some reason, Democratic Senator Mark Warner decided to go visit him.
A few hours ago, I left the Farmville Detention Center, where I had a chance to meet with Kilmar Abrego Garcia. I gave him letters from his family, and you can imagine how emotional he was. There should be no action taken on deportation of this individual until that due process claims are resolved. I got a commitment from the private company that runs the facility that they'll work with us on improving both some of the food and some of the health care. America's a better country than this. We all need to continue to stand up and speak out.
Just incredible. Joining me now here in studio is a senior advisor at Customs and Border Protection, Ron Vitiello. Ron, welcome to the show. So I know that Senator Van Hollen from Maryland has a man crush on this gangbanger, criminal, illegal immigrant. I'm a little surprised to see Mark Warner, who's supposed to be one of their sensible adults in the room on that side of the aisle, going on a pilgrimage. Apparently this is the thing now. You go to visit Kilmar. And what I'm struggling to understand is, initially I understood at least like the fig leaf here, which is saying, okay, due process, rule of law. There was a judge that said you couldn't deport this man specifically to El Salvador. And the administration did so inadvertently or falsely, wrongly. And the Supreme Court said you got to facilitate his return. They've now done that. They've checked that box. When you look at this man's rap sheet, what he's accused of, what we know he has done, crimes, violence, etc., as a confirmed illegal immigrant, now that the rule of law concern has been satisfied in terms of the wrongful deportation specifically to El Salvador, why are they still latching themselves to this man at all? Shouldn't they run away?
It's incredible. The people who live in Virginia deserve better than Mark Warner making a pilgrimage to see the Farmville man, right? He must be the Farmville, Virginia man now. It's crazy how the Democrats, Trump has been able to take the mask down. They don't want anyone deported. And for them to say there's no due process in this case, this individual had 2 bites at the apple in immigration court and was ordered by a judge. They
removed, right? He's got an active removal order against him.
100%. That is the process. It's the process that Mark Warner paid for with his vote for appropriations for immigration courts, for ICE agents, for detention centers like Farmville. And he makes the pilgrimage over there. And now he's talking about doctors and the food that's there. It's incredible. This guy has shown us that they don't want anyone to be deported from the United States, despite this guy being a known gang member, a human trafficker, and someone who has been accused credibly of beating on his wife. I mean, it's crazy how the Democrats just want everyone from the third world that's here in the United States illegally and committing other crimes to stay in the United States. Yeah, we deserve better.
The due process argument is moot at this point. So now it's just effectively a pro-illegal immigration party. And because President Trump wants this guy out of the country like most Americans would and should, they have to do the opposite thing. I think it's that childish and stupid and destructive. On this note, though, I want to mention this story because CBS News just did something yesterday where Secretary Noem did an interview, and they cut it. And look, sometimes you have to edit for time. I understand that. But they snipped out of one of her answers the allegations against Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Maybe the Mark Warners of the world feel like they can get away with turning this man into a poster child if voters don't know what he's done and what he's accused of doing. So here's a tweet on X from Kristi Noem. This morning, I joined CBS to report the facts about Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Instead, CBS shamefully edited the interview to whitewash the truth about this MS-13 gang member and the threat he poses to American public safety. So I want to just read to you for our audience what CBS edited out. This is what their audience didn't see in that interview. Speaking of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, this individual was a known human smuggler, MS-13 gang member, an individual who was a wife beater, and someone who was so perverted that he solicited nude photos from minors. Even his fellow human traffickers told him to knock it off. He was so sick in what he was doing and how he was treating small children. So he needs to never be in the United States of America. That was on the cutting room floor. So maybe the average person who might get their news from other sources, if they don't know anything about this guy other than he's a Maryland father with a family, they don't know any of that, perhaps this is what the Democrats are trying to play on.
Well, this is what they're doing, right? They know that the media is going to back their play. And think about this from the secretary's point of view. She's running the Department of Homeland Security, one of the most important initiatives of the entire country. And she takes the time out of her day to go speak with the folks at CBS. And they do her like that. This is propaganda at its worst. This is the mainstream media trying to hide the facts from the American people. And we deserve better. There's a theme here. We deserve better than these politicians and the press corps holding up this guy as somebody that he's absolutely not.
And just to be clear, because evidently CBS's audience wouldn't know this, he is a confirmed illegal immigrant with a deportation order, removal order against him. His wife had multiple protective orders against him because of his violent abuse. He's implicated heavily in a massive human trafficking operation and sort of almost like a gang, right? It's this ring of human smugglers. And he is accused in the indictment of solicitation of child pornography. The list goes on. And this is the person the Democrats have decided to go visit on multiple occasions, like some sort of hero, really. Finally, before you go, I want to ask you, Ron, about this. A Biden-appointed federal judge has put a stop to these repatriation flights for minors. These are illegal immigrant children from Guatemala. The administration says the point of these flights was to send them home and reunite them with their families, but left-wing groups sued. The Biden-appointed judge has now agreed. I'm a little confused. Catch me up here, because I remember, I'm so old that I remember when family separation was the ultimate cruel sin of the previous Trump administration. This would be bringing families back together, returning kids to their families, and now that's bad. Am I missing something?
The special interests and this activist judge, more activist than judge, believes that she knows better than the Guatemalan government, which our government worked closely with to make sure they identified who these children were and that they intended to return to Guatemala to be reunited with their parents. This judge steps in the way and takes all of the coordination that both governments have done for people who are in the country illegally, who have raised their hand and said, you know what, I want to go back to my home. And this judge gets in the way of that. This activism and these radical judges and the left, the ACLU, whoever filed this case, they're trying to tell the rest of us that nobody should be deported from the United States. That's their end goal.
Yeah, and some family separations are fine as long as you're letting more illegal immigrants stay here. I mean, that's the inescapable conclusion to some of this. Ron, thanks for coming in on a holiday. Really good to see you.
Thank you.
Hey, it's Will Cain. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Cain podcast for full episodes right now.